Hi, this is Patty Corrales. I am the attorney of the Law Office of Patricia M. Corrales. I practice both immigration and criminal law. Many of you know me because I often do legal shows so that I can make certain that the public is educated on the laws relating to criminal and immigration matters. Today, I want to take this opportunity to discuss President Trump's executive orders that he issued on immigration-related issues on Wednesday, January 25th, 2017. We all knew President Trump was going to take some action on immigration-related matters. He campaigned on that, so this is not a surprise. But one of the executive orders is really quite far-reaching, and it's something that troubles me because there's really no guidelines to his order. But unfortunately, those in the Department of Homeland Security, ICE agents and immigration enforcement officers and attorneys have to follow President Trump's executive order. I want to discuss some of the points of that executive order because it's going to affect many of you in the community who either don't have legal status or are lawful permanent residents or are in the process of obtaining legal status. So one of the particular issues that I want to discuss is that priority memo that President Obama issued in November of 2014, I believe, is no longer the case or no longer the guidelines that the Department of Homeland Security have. So there is no priority. They're not picking and choosing the really tough cases or the criminals that are here illegally. They're pretty much, President Trump's new executive order is pretty much singling out everybody. Anybody who's here unlawfully, anybody who's been in this country past their visa status, anybody who's just been arrested, even if you're not convicted, you're going to be a target. Certainly people who have convictions or people who have contact with known organized crime or terrorist organizations, you're going to be a target. Now, what does this mean? It means that really there's just no way of knowing exactly how ICE officers are going to operate. One thing that President Trump did was he brought back secured communities. Secured communities was a program under the Bush administration where ICE agents would go to your neighborhoods and your community and your work sites to make certain that the people that they encountered were here lawfully or had some sort of legal status to be in the United States. So with secured communities, you're going to see a larger presence of ICE officers and or agents in your communities and in your work situation, your workplace. What are your rights? This is the one thing that is so important that I want to make certain that everybody understands. You have rights. And the primary right you have is to ask for an attorney. Do not give out any information other than your name and your date of birth. Anything else, you ask to talk to a lawyer. That is your right. Whether you're here legally, whether you're here as a resident, whether you're here with DACA, whether you're here unlawfully, that is your right. You also have the right to ask for a consular representative, someone from your consulate, to be with you and be present with you during any interviews by ICE officers or ICE agents. Secondly, what's your other right? Your other right is you want your day in court. You have a right to ask to see an immigration judge. So enforce that right. You want to see a judge. Now, some of you might have deportation orders that exist, and ICE in that situation does have the authority to reinstitute that order and just take you back and deport you back to your country. Even so, you still have a right to talk to a lawyer, and I would exercise that right. Now, it's not okay to be disrespectful of officers or to use violence or to act out. You can assert your rights respectfully. Don't engage in conduct that would harm you instead of help you. Thirdly, if ICE officers ever come to your work site and or your home, they cannot enter your home unless they have a warrant. If they don't have a warrant, don't open the door. You have a right to say no thanks. I'm not going to open my door. This is my home. If you open the door and you allow them in, now you've given them consent and they don't need a warrant. So please understand that. Another thing that many wonderful immigration organizations who are active in the community recommend is if you have children, make a plan for your children. Have someone who's going to be able to take care of your children on an emergency basis in case one of you, your spouse, or someone in your family is taken and detained by ICE. It's very important to have a family plan. Don't be scared, but just be informed. Be ready. And more importantly, you need to understand that things are changing. This is not the same administration that we had previously. We don't know what's going to happen with the DACA recipients. There has been no decision yet by the administration in regards to that. Now, we've heard President Trump say that he's going to be very, very nice to the DACA recipients. We don't know what very, very nice means. Now, we've also heard through this executive order, we also know through this executive order that he issued on Wednesday that there are going to be more enforcement of individuals here illegally, and particularly individuals who commit or are arrested for any crime. So please try to follow the rules of this state that you're in and the laws of this country. And if anything happens, please assert your right to speak to an attorney. That is your right. And what I want to say is, talk to a licensed attorney and talk to them about your immigration and criminal history. Be forthcoming. See if there's a way to become legal in this country. Determine what your rights are. So speak to someone who is licensed to assist you, who understands the immigration laws. And I would do that quickly. I don't want to bring panic. Don't be panicked. Just have faith and hope that God will protect us all. And the one thing I do want to end with is this. Those who have cases before the immigration courts, I've gotten a lot of calls. What about us? Can we still close our cases? It appears that the priority memo that Obama instituted, giving priority to certain types of cases, that no longer exists. So the possibility of the government using their discretion favorably to close your case so that you don't have to go back to immigration court, not terminating it, but just closing it, that seems to have gone away as well. But if you have a case before the immigration court, that doesn't mean that ICE can just take you and deport you. That means you have a right to fight your ability to stay in this country. And I would exercise every right I had to try to defend myself against being deported. We've also heard of sanctuary cities. These are cities or places where you can seek protection and they're not going to turn you over to ICE officers. You also heard that President Trump is going to take really strong action against sanctuary cities for harboring what he believes are illegal aliens or aliens who don't, and I hate the word aliens, but individuals who are not here lawfully or individuals who have arrests or criminal convictions. He's going to take forceful action against these sanctuary cities. What does it mean? What does a sanctuary city mean? It means it's a place where you can seek refuge, but they can't give you legal status, and they can try to protect you from being taken or turned over to ICE officials. And there are many sanctuary cities in Boston, Seattle, here in Santa Ana that have said, listen, we're not going to allow President Trump to scare our community. All I can tell you is that there are cities like that, and if you need someone to talk to about what it means to be in one of those cities or to live in one of those cities or to go to one of these places, please talk to a licensed attorney. I didn't touch on the entirety of the executive orders because there's a lot. There's a lot to be said about them, and it's a lot to digest. But what I really want you to understand is that you do have rights to talk to a lawyer. You have a right to not say anything to an ICE agent and to ask for an attorney or a consular representative. I want you to learn to exercise that right, but do so respectfully. Also, take the time and the effort to go find a good lawyer to talk to them about your immigration and criminal history. Maybe there is a way for you to become legalized here in the United States. Ask. But ask a licensed attorney. Do not go to notaries. Do not go to people who associate with notaries. Simply go to licensed attorneys. And they don't necessarily have to be licensed in the state of California. A good immigration attorney could be licensed in another state and still represent you in the immigration forum. Why? Because an immigration law is a federal law. And there's so many good attorneys here in Los Angeles, many good attorneys here in Pasadena, California. But if anyone would like to ask me a question, feel free to email my law office at patricia.m.corrales@gmail.com, or feel free to contact me at 626-791-1434. Someone from my office will get back to you and schedule you for an appointment. Again, remember, don't panic, don't act aggressively, act respectfully. Assert your rights and talk to a lawyer, and never lose hope. Thank you.